Here's a Mixing with Mike tip on the difference between putting your speakers on stands versus mounts for mixing. Now, when you're setting up your system in your studio, the primary decision is going to be based off of the amount of space that you have available. In an ideal scenario, it's always best to have your speakers set up on stands. And the whole idea of the stand is that it's going to decouple or isolate the speaker from vibration from the floor. So in these particular monitors, you see these bolts that are mounted to the bottom plate, and this basically attaches to the floor. And what it does is it takes the vibrational energy that would go down the stand itself and it minimizes it, makes its transition or transmission into the floor very inefficient. And that's a big important part of getting your speakers to sound good, because if those speakers are solidly connected to the floor, then a lot of the low frequency energy, which will sound better and feel better in some ways, will actually also create some false or create some problems in the room, because it will make the room sympathetically vibrate more readily. And that's something that you want to avoid, so that you're bypassing or controlling to whatever degree you can the modal issues and standing waves in your space. So decoupling the speakers is important, and stands is the best way to do it if you have the space. The other nice part about stands is that it's easier for you to set the distance, your monitoring distance, in terms of how far you are from the speakers and triangulating them correctly. It gives you the most flexibility. Now, if this is not an option and you have a smaller space, then the next best option would be to get an isolation mount. And the isolation mount here that you see with this focal monitor, this very expensive focal monitor for that case, is set up so that you can actually angle the speaker correctly and that it can sit on top of either a stand or a desk mount. For a speaker this side, that would probably be too close unless you had a very big desk. But if you have one of those desks like those Argosy desks or one of those consoles that is designed for DAW systems, where maybe you have a little bit of rack gear and then you have an area where you can set your monitors, the one problem that you have with this is that the speakers rested directly on top of this piece of furniture are going to vibrate the furniture. And so then you're going to get some artificial resonance from that as well. So you want to have some kind of mount, at very minimum, at least some hard rubber foam that goes between your monitor and the system. If nothing else, it will help to keep your monitor from vibrating off of the furniture, but will also create a bit of isolation, so that some of that energy, that low frequency energy that would vibrate through your desk, is going to be absorbed. If you have a setup where you have a desk, I would suggest that you use smaller monitors, because in a desk setup like that, you're going to be very close to the speakers. And if you have an 8 or a 10 or a 12-inch driver, you're going to be way too close to the monitor. So the larger the low-end driver, the farther away you actually need to be positioned in order for you to really fully and properly take in the whole speaker. So, and in this case, if you need to do it that way, then you want to set up some kind of isolation mount so that the speaker, you're getting the sound straight from the speaker without having the negative effects of all the vibration through the furniture or through the floor. And that's the basic idea of using stands versus mounts, as opposed to just laying them flat on top of the furniture that you're using. So there's your Mixing with Mike tip on deciding whether you want to use speaker stands or speaker mounts for mixing. And you can join the live classes for Mixing with Mike every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Go to mpginsider.com and you can find the information there to sign up. And if you sign up to the newsletter, you can attend the live classes for free.